This is Mark Adams with fourquartersonline.com, and I'm joined by a very familiar face, Mr. Will Brown. Thank you for joining us here today on the Extra Point podcast. And I'm also with my tag team partner, as always, Coach Cofield. What's happening?
What's happening, bro?
So, Will, I have to say, we miss you over here in the Tallahassee area. We have so much to cover, and if not a whole lot of time, but man, thank you for taking our time out of your very busy schedule, joining us here today. Basically, it's playoff football time. You've had a chance to see everything that is in Duval County, Nassau County, St. Johns County for the past several seasons. We trust your brain to provide us with the expert analysis and feedback. So let's go ahead and jump into it. In 1A, in our area, we have Northview taking on Vernon, Taylor County playing Bozeman, and Sneeze playing Bluntstown, which is a very interesting matchup. But let's go ahead and talk about Madison County taking on Hilliard at Hilliard. You've had a chance to see them. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
Hilliard is undefeated, and they're having a fantastic season. And, small town, undefeated. They've really come together. And here's the thing, though. They really have not played the schedule Madison County has played, and that is what's about to bite them on Friday night. Hilliard might be undefeated, but they've been playing Bishop Snyder, Stanton, St. Joseph Academy down in St. Augustine, Wolfson, Fernandina Beach. Madison County is a big step up in class. I'll give you an example. Hilliard beat Paxton 27-14 back in September. That same Paxton team came over to Tallahassee last week. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
Dang.
So, fair play to Hilliard. They've had a fantastic season. Their running back is a senior, and he's averaging they average 7.4 yards per carry. So they're really a ground-based offense. So, it's one of those things. If Madison County gets off to a strong start, it's going to be really tough for Hilliard to come back. Their senior running back, is, last I checked, averaging 10.5 yards per carry. Taiwan Lee, he's been an equal opportunity. I will find the end zone kind of player for the Red Flashes this year. 6'2", 200 pounds. So he's a big kid. Plays both sides of the football. So, Madison's going to have to find a way to tackle him.
Okay. Coach, I think that's going to be one of the more interesting games in 1A. Now that we understand what, I think I definitely like Madison in the contest, but, it's not a chance. It's not too often that we get a chance to see some of these outside area teams. So there's so many other games on this list, though, that really piqued my attention, but this is one of them.
Yeah, you see, look like the state decided to have Tallahassee versus Jacksonville, because we all competing against these Tallahassee teams versus Jacksonville teams. And I wonder what they had in mind when they started doing this. You see with the teams that we face here in Tallahassee, we don't get to see much teams out of town because they decided to stay in the area. Now, in the playoffs, I guess you spread it out and get a lot of good looks at good teams from around the area, especially in the small schools.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna have my attention. I'm gonna keep my eye on it. Coach, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to you. Let's go ahead and talk about 2A football.
Oh, that's 2A. We got two schools left. John Paul II, which faces the perennial champions over there, University Christian. That's always in the finals. Always, every time you look up, if they're not in the finals, there's something wrong. So I guess they're repeating again. They didn't have that great record. But you got a chance to see them. What do you think of that team facing teams John Paul?
UC's record, like you said, is not the greatest. They're 5-4 on the season. But the teams that have beaten them are really outstanding teams. Bowles is 6-2. And Bowles has an offensive line that Coach Shotgun Simmons would like to have. Those kids at Bowles are big. Then there's Baldwin, who had finished the undefeated regular season, and Baldwin lost its first game last Friday to a very good Trinity Christian team that is streaking. University Christian lost to an Oakleaf team that is 6-3. Oakleaf has lost 3 games. Like I said, 2 were to Georgia teams, And the other game they lost was because the team that beat them, St. John's Bartram Trail, hit a 54-yard field goal with less than a minute to go.
Dang.
Right. That kid that we all like to joke in Tallahassee, in Jacksonville, that kid could go play for the Jags today.
That ain't saying.
We'll talk about the tank for Trevor later. But the other team that UC lost to was Clay, and Clay is 7-1. Clay had a turnaround season, so like I said, they have played some outstanding teams. So they've been prepared, and when they have played teams of their size, when they played, they beat Bradford by 11. They beat Foundation Academy, a 2A school, running clock. Crescent City, not a bad team. They put up 69 on them. Robert F. Monroe, 42-0. So I say that to say that, JP2 is going to have its work cut out for them against UC.
Wow. The records are not indicative of what kind of team they are.
Exactly.
Now, the other game there's a lot of folks around here interested in is North Florida Christian versus North Florida Educational Academy. Is that it?
I think so.
I think so. And that should be what do you think about that matchup?
2 words. Running clock.
Running. Is it that bad? North Florida's pretty good, I must admit.
Yeah, I look to see DeAndre McCray, Jackson, and Lucas.
And I found out something too.
Running backs that just are absolutely a terror to deal with. So if it is as you say, we trust Will.
Mark,
we trust
the Jackson kid on North Florida Christian is Ernie Sims Ernie Sims' dad's grandson. He's a Sims. He's kin to Ernie Sims.
Oh, well, then say no more. Running clock in the first half.
That's funny.
Man.
And you saying they don't have it should be a easy game for the NFC.
Yes, sir. Without question.
So with the two Jacksonville matchups,
you know the other schools on the list they're coming since we're playing Tallahassee versus Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm interested to see John Paul. I definitely would like to see how they match up against University. So these are the giants you got to take down if you want to be a power, if you want to be a state power. So we'll have to see what they bring on Friday night. But moving through 3A, Pensacola Catholic at Florida High. Definitely like the Seminoles in this one. They're rolling. They're hot right now. And then moving on through 4A, Mariana at South Walton, Gadsden at Rutherford. Man, we saw this game not even 3 weeks ago, and Gaston County it was 50 points in the first half. I don't even think, unless Rutherford found a way to get some athletes in, I really like the Jaguars in this one. At 5A, West Florida visits Rickards. Definitely like to see the Raiders in this one. And then God be taking on Ribault. Will, what's your analysis on this one?
Ribault's record says 2-6, but their defense is really not bad. They have struggled to score for multiple years. That has always been the rub with Ribault. If they can put up points, they have a chance against anyone. The question is, are they going to score? They lost to a very good Lee team, I think, by 1 score. They lost another game by, I think, 1 point. So you can tell pretty early. If Ribault is able to move the football and score, they should be in decent shape. This is a Ribault team that, was able to move the ball against Reigns, but just turned it over time and time and time again. I think Reigns had 2 pick-sixes on them when they met in the Northwest Classic last month. So if Ribault is able to move the football, they will have a chance into the second half. However, if Gabi put up 64 against Paxton, oh my goodness. They'll have to work into the third quarter, but I don't see Gabi having any issues with Ribault.
Wow. You giving us some
Duval Sports or maybe around state championship time. And so this is the only really analysis we get. So we appreciate this from you, Will. Suwannee takes on Pine Forest, but this really, kind of sets up where you look at Gabi and Rickers. Should they win these games, that will set up a huge matchup back here in Tallahassee. I think the city will have to find a way to figure out how many fans are going to want to let in that game.
They should play it at Doak.
Huh?
They should play it at Doak because, that'll be the only time we see a competitive football game in that stadium this fall.
No comment on that.
At 6A, we have Seabreeze taking on Columbia. Really for Columbia, it's been kind of a rough go of it this year. I think they got their first win of the regular season on their last game. They played some tough talent, a lot of close games, so record may not be entirely indicative of where they stand. But Tigers still have to me, I think they still have their work cut out for them. 7A looks interesting. We get to see Charles and Leon back. They both have first round buys. Charles takes on Fleming Island. Leon takes on Niceville. These are tough matchups. And then we have Lincoln going out to Atlantic Coast.
So let's start with the two games that'll be competitive. Fleming Island and honestly, none of the games will be competitive, to be 100% candid with you. Niceville is going to do Niceville things to Leon. Like if you want more analysis, is like seriously, I think the Leon Niceville soccer would be much more compelling than any football game they play. As for Fleming Island and Childs, so Fleming Island is a very good defensive team. They are really good defensive. You're going to have to move the football the length of the field against them, and that's what makes them a very tough team to beat because they're not going to give up big plays. So they're not a whole lot of high school teams that can sustain 65, 70-yard drives, like drives, not like chunk plays, but sustain 65, 70-yard drives 2 or 3, 4 times a game, which is probably going to be required to beat Fleming Island. I haven't seen the Childs, but Fleming Island's a really good team. At one point, they had Northeast Florida's longest regular season winning streak. They lost twice in the regular season, but they lost to a very good Gainesville Buchholz team, and then can't quite remember.
Yeah, that's the other team I've seen that's been on a very good uptick lately is Buchholz. Yeah,
Buchholz beat the silly out of St. John's Creekside last Friday, and St. John's Creekside beat Bowles at Bowles. And Gainesville Buchholz beat them soundly twice this year. So Buchholz is lurking out there. As for Lincoln and Atlantic Coast, most of us here in Jacksonville are shocked that Atlantic Coast is in this game. They put up 47 against Fletcher, and that none of us saw that. This was an Atlantic Coast team that couldn't score against Mandarin. This is an Atlantic Coast team that I think St. John's Creekside beat them by 17. And Fletcher was 6-1, and they put up 47 on them, and the game wasn't as close as the score indicated.
Well,
but Fletcher's another one of the schools that got hurt by COVID. That school got shut down for I think 2 weeks because of the virus, and you go from no school for 2 weeks to we got to play a football game against. It's not necessarily a rivalry, but that's the type of game that Atlantic Coast needed no motivation to beat them. But I expect Lincoln to have its way against Atlantic Coast. I don't see it. Like I'm looking at it. I'm kind of thinking of Atlantic Coast's schedule off the top of my head, and I don't. They're 4-5,
right?
And Lincoln should. This is one of those Lincoln should win by 21 at least. They've
been playing very good ball. We saw, the first game. Arguably, they played Rickards, and I think they caught Lincoln at a bad time. They were trying to get the train on the tracks. but then they turned it around very quickly, and they've been playing their best ball I've seen. They look very sound in a lot of phases of the game. Their kicker nailed a 50-yarder near 47-yarder easily, and it was still going up. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I will send you that huddle link. You can definitely go watch that. That was entertaining.
So I'm looking at Atlantic Coast record. I hate to cut you off really quick, Mark, but they've been shut out twice. They've been shut out twice this year, and they lost. They lost to First Coast. All right, our good friends at Max Preps decided to interrupt our episode, but no, they lost to First Coast. So
that don't look good, does it?
Exactly.
So that rounds out 7A. Will, I thank you for your time, man. It's been great catching up with you. We may have to do this again next week because there'll be some more epic football matchups to talk about, but it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. I thank you for having me. Hopefully that epic football matchup that we've been teasing comes to fruition next week, and we can talk some more about it.
Okay. So this has been our playoff preview edition of the Extra Point. We thank Will Brown, who most Tallahasseans should remember from his days at Democrat, St. John's, Duval, Nassau County football expert that we consider. Thank you for your time.